Hi, everybody. It's Michelle Andrews. I just wanted to post a short video of a scenario of 11-year-old boy. So we're going to be talking about the pediatric population and just giving you a drive home of that pediatric assessment triangle that we had spoke of earlier this week. This 11-year-old boy was brought into the emergency room with heart palpitations. He's short of breath and he's feeling fatigued. Okay, so there's why he was brought in. What are we going to do from there? We're going to do exactly what American Heart Association recommends. And it's wonderful because they lay it all out for us, don't they? The initial assessment. A, B, and C. Remember that? So we're looking at A, B, and C. We're looking at the appearance of the child. This initial assessment, folks, is what can we see and what can we hear? It's not actually getting down and dirty with the patient yet. It's what can we see and what can we hear? Well, we can see his appearance. We can see that he's retracting a little bit, maybe he's nasal flaring. Let's see if it tells us what he's doing. Yeah, he's nasal flaring. He's got increased respiratory effort. We can see that. And then B is breathing, and that goes along with increased respiratory effort. And by the way, his respiratory rate is 30 breaths per minute. It's a little high, right? So then they go on to tell us the circulation. We're looking at the C in the initial assessment, right? So we're looking at the color. Is he pale? Is he mottled? Is he cyanotic? What's his pulse? Well, they tell us what his pulse is, and I'm going to share that with you. It's kind of going to blow your mind because this is just a great example of an SVT. So this poor little 11-year-old boy is got a heart palpitation, I bet, because his heart rate is 210 beats per minute. Oh! Just makes me want to go like this just thinking about it. Poor little guy. He's SVT, isn't he? Now, we need to look at his blood pressure. His blood pressure, according to them, is 84 over 62. A little low. But I'm going to say this. Remember our little trick, 70 plus, and then in parentheses, 2 times the age in years. So he's 11. 2 times 11 is 22, right? Plus 70 is 92. And that's kind of the cutoff. So he's a little low systolically, isn't he? He is. So he needs to be addressed with a primary assessment as well. This is where we're going to get closer to the patient, learn more about the patient with that mnemonic A, B, C, D, and E. A being airway, is it patent? Right now, we need to know, is this guy's airway patent? And from what they're telling me, it is. However, his blood his pulse oximetry is only 91 on room air. So let's give him some supplemental oxygen. And I wrote that down for those that participated in the PALS online tutorial. They purchased the package through allinclusivesafetytraining@gmail.com. I did write down some different modalities of oxygen, and so here I would recommend for this little guy, quickly I would throw on a nasal cannula. And I would throw it on probably at 4 to 6 liters per minute with humidity because it's going to be so drying. And I'm only thinking that because that 11-year-old may not want a mask on his face. But if he'll tolerate a mask, just to be safe, just throw a non-rebreather on him or an oxy mask. Probably a non-rebreather. 91 is pretty low for an 11-year-old. You know? So let's see what else we can learn about this guy. Breathing, we said it's labored. He has increased effort. We've also going to look at the C, the circulation. Looking at the scenario to see what his circulate. He has cool skin. His skin is cool to the touch. Circulation. Disability, level of consciousness, AVPU. This is where we look at the AVPU, right? Alert, voice, pain, unresponsiveness, right? What's that score? Let me see what they have to say about this guy. He appears sluggish, but answers questions. He has a little bit of disability issue, doesn't he? Strike against him. Strike one. Now, he has a couple of strikes against him. He's a sick little guy. Disability and then exposure is your head-to-toe assessment. So we need to get that going right away, don't we? We want to get that going right away. We need to auscultate this guy. It says that he has a poor perfusion, which we know that. But also it says that he has been evaluated for signs of heart failure. What do you think you're going to auscultate there if he has heart failure? Rails. I'm going to hear crackles. I'm going to hear wet. And this little, very sick guy, right? So we really want to do a head-to-toe assessment. We want to go ahead and get an EKG. We want to get some labs. We want to consult. We're going to want a cardiology consult because he has a perfusion issue. For sure. Along with the SVT. Yes, definitely. What are we going to try initially? Quick. Vagal maneuvers. Now, he's sluggish. He may not be able to follow directions, right? He might be one that when your back's turned, he's falling asleep. And then when you turn back around and approach him, he kind of jumps and wakes up a little bit. We could put a cloth in cold water, real ice cold water, and then put that on his face, and that'll be kind of the same thing as a vagal maneuver. We could try that. But that didn't work according to the scenario. We had to go ahead, and the doctor has to be present in the room to deliver adenosine here in Florida. I'm not sure how it is in other states. And also, too, adenosine should be delivered at the site closest to the heart. Okay? So if that happens to be right here in the hand, go ahead and deliver it, flush it, and hold the arm up. Okay? All right, so that's how you're going to deliver your adenosine. We're going to deliver 0.1 milligrams per kilogram of adenosine first with a max of 8. And then we can give 0.2 milligrams per kilogram of adenosine with a max of 12. But you know what? He's crashing. And so the doctor says, let's go ahead and perform some synchronized cardioversion. Now, what makes cardioversion different from defibrillation anyway is the fact that it's synchronized. I think that's funny that they say that, but yeah, it is. All right, so how much cardioversion should the nurse set that machine for? Because she's already pressed sync, hasn't she? Now she's going to set the dosage for 0.5 to 1 joule per kilogram. Okay? And that's what we're going to do to try to restart this guy, start his engine back up. We got to get it going again. So, again, that pediatric assessment triangle, this is what I wanted to tell you. We're going to go ahead and evaluate, intervene, or identify and intervene. Every time we do something, we're going to evaluate him, identify, and then intervene. We're going to go ahead and do that secondary assessment anyway. Even though we know we're going to go ahead and synchronize cardiovert him, we're going to do that sample assessment, right? Signs and symptoms, allergies. This is the secondary assessment is information we're getting from the caregiver that brought this poor little guy in. This 11-year-old little boy, from the caregiver to us, right? So signs and symptoms, allergies, past medications, including supplements, past injuries, past hospitalizations, past immunizations. Did he just have an immunization? And if so, which one? Last meal, what time? What was the meal? Where was it at? And then finally, events leading up to this situation. We want an accurate timeline, don't we? Yes, we do. And we're going to write all that down because all that information is going to help the doctor that's going to come in and do that consult. And he's actually already on his way because we don't mess around with these little guys, do we? No, when we see someone with a heart rate of 11-year-old little boy, with increased effort, nasal flaring, right? And he's kind of sluggish. Every time I turn around, he's just drifting off, and then he wakes back up. He's got a heart rate of 210, a blood pressure of 84/62, a respiratory rate of 30, SpO2 of 91. We have brought it up, by the way, with he took the non-rebreather, so he's 100% now. Thank God. I mean, sometimes they just don't want a mask on their face. So, at that point, you don't want to fight them, but he took it. So his shortness of breath is better. The consult is in the room. And so I just feel a whole lot better that this little guy is going to get taken care of. Okay? So Michelle signing out. Please subscribe to my channel and leave me some comments. They mean so much. So I'm looking for them. I'm going to be looking for them as soon as I upload this. All right? Happy Valentine's Day. Bye-bye.